Doveston and welcome to the I Ching Cafe and our weekly overview for February the 15th of 2021. Right, so happy Valentine's Day to all those who decided to celebrate yesterday on the 14th of February. Let us have a look at what happened last week. Let's recap our thinking on what the I Ching asked us to pay attention to last week. And we had this beautiful energy of Hexagram 11 peace, bringing us the opportunity to see how things are connected, the flow happening, and everything just lining up and connected. With our changing line saying, pull up the ribbon grass, take the action, and those who are connected to us, those who want to help us, will flow with us. And with that, the wonderful opportunity for growth and progress. I found that last week I was able to get a huge amount done. Don't know about you. There were projects that were left open, that were struggling to reach closure, and the energy was there, the opportunity was there, and I cleared so much off my plate last week. Really liberating. So I hope for you too, there was this wonderful opportunity to move forward last week. Right, so let's have a look at this week, commencing the 15th of February. Here we are in the middle of the month already. Let us have a look at what we're being asked to pay attention to this week. Now, this week we have our friend Hexagram 4, Youthful, Folly, come back. You'll remember that in our weekly overview commencing the 1st of February, our outcome or second hexagram for that week was for Youthful Folly. And here it is again as our main focus for the week. If you cast your mind back and perhaps go and rewatch that episode, Youthful Folly is all about learning to recognize where we have got learning, development, and maturing to do, where we cannot see things clearly because we don't have an adult perspective. We have a child's view. It's that image of an adult standing at a wall, looking over the wall and seeing what's there, and the child standing behind the wall and only coming up halfway up the wall and not being able to see anything. And of course, what we create with our minds, what we think is on the other side of the wall, tells a lot too. Do we think and assume that there's trouble, challenge, and dark shadows? Or do we assume that there's an infinite amount of possibility? Or do we take the path that this hexagram calls us to do, to say, I actually don't have enough information. I actually don't have enough experience to see what's on the other side of the wall. And I might make assumptions about what is there, but they are just that. They are assumptions. That is the path of wisdom with this hexagram. So this week, it's all about working with this idea that we got growing and developing and learning to do in a particular situation, whether it's in your personal life, your business, professional life. There is work to do to grow up, okay? And we're all going to be asked to grow up in a particular way this week. We're going to become conscious. If you're working with this flow of change, the opportunity is there to become conscious of an area of your consciousness, of your life, where growing up is needed, where getting tall and being able to look over the wall is essential. And going back to this idea of the child getting halfway up the wall is this idea that let's work with the assumption that we don't actually know what's on the other side of the wall, that we don't have all the information. And what a child or a youth will do will assume they have the whole picture, will assume they have wisdom, and then get unstuck when the reality bites. So we have some interesting changing lines for this week too. We have 2 changing lines. That means it's going to be quite a busy week as the flows of change switch from one to the other. So let's have a look at our changing lines. Our first changing line for this week is in the 3rd position. And this changing line is a big red caution, caution, bright neon sign flashing. You can imagine those old motel signs. This one is flashing. Caution, 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 caution. Okay, so as we head into this week, what is the I Ching shouting at us to be aware of? And the thing that we are being asked to be aware of is saying yes or becoming involved in something that is beyond us, that is not ours, that has nothing in it for us, of thinking we get it and saying yes to an opportunity that is way beyond where our skills and expertise are right now, and that is empty, it's devoid of life. The I Ching talks about flirting with something that's beyond us, right? Thinking we have the ability to do something, but in reality, It is far beyond where we are, and it's far beyond where we should be. So this week, be absolutely cautious about what you're entertaining as a possible yes, the projects you might be considering, the relationships you might be considering. Decisions this week need our attention. They need our awareness of where something is beyond us, where we are trying to flirt with something that is beyond us and not for us right now. Leave it alone, back it out, stop, 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 neon, flash, flash, flash. So really just be really focused on the first part of this week of where things are in alignment, the projects that you're working on, the things that you're doing in your life that you have been working on, that you've been nurturing and cultivating, and the opportunities and the meetings and the discussions and the conversations that might come up where you might be tempted to say yes to something, or to rush in to help on something, or to solve a problem. Whatever it is for you this week, have your feelers up, have that neon sign in your mind, so that when this comes up for you, if it does, that it flashes brightly and you step back and say, not for me, there's nothing in this for me. This is flirting with something that's beyond where I'm at, beyond where I should be, not mine. No, leave alone. Okay, quite a strong piece of advice for us to pay attention to this week. Then our second changing line in the fifth position talks about us having got to a point of evolution, because as we go up the hexagram, the lines start at the bottom and they evolve and mature, and we get to the top line. Usually the flow of the hexagram is we've matured something, we've reached a level of development on an issue. And so the fifth line does indicate for us that we've got to a point where we realize these things we don't understand, we realize where our learning is, we realize where we've got to focus our growth next. We've reached a place of wisdom, not having acquired all the knowledge, but recognize where that gap is, recognize where there's work to do and what needs to happen next, and what levels of expertise perhaps we might be missing at this stage. What the line is then asking us to do is to just pause. This is a process or a moment where we recognize we've reached a level of maturity, we understand something, we didn't understand something before, maybe we've just looked over the edge of the wall. And now what we have to do is just wait in the wings and bide our time. So the time to go forth and take action is not yet there. So there's something about this week. Once we've got past this challenge of saying yes to things that are not for us, we then get into this process of we have the wisdom now, but now we just have to wait a little bit. So there's a little holding back that we're being asked to do this week, to not be foolish. Remember, youthful folly can also be about being foolish, okay, or being silly or immature. This is about just holding back a little bit. You've got the wisdom now, just hang ten in the shadows just for a little while longer. And then our second hexagram, our relating flow of change, which is often referred to as an outcome for the week, but it's also interwoven. It's not like the one stops and the one starts. This is an evolution from youthful folly. We start the week to this hexagram, which is 57, the gentle. This hexagram is a doubling of wind, so it's wind above wind, and it's the ultimate gentle persistence of advancement through gentle, persistent effort. It is shaping things by the wind moving the sand dune, one grain of sand at a time. And it achieves progress not by brute force, but by receptive adherence, adaptability, agility, progress, and just keeping on moving. So there's a wonderful, gentle, feminine growth opportunity here in this week. This is not an explosion week. This is almost a recalibration around some of these learning points that we've been called to this week. And there's gentle progress. So just embrace that in this week, the fires and flames of some of the other hexagrams, that is not the energy here. This week, we're being called to be gentle, to be adaptable, to be supple and go with the flow. As the wind moves around things, it slowly moves things, it supports and nurtures and cajoles. It's not a passive energy, it's an active energy, but it's very gentle and it's very holding and nurturing at the same time as we recognize the areas we have to grow, and just being patient enough, mature enough to bide our time until the time is right. Very interesting week for us this week. Different energy to last week. And of course, if you've not yet watched the February overview, it'd be really good to see how the bubbling cauldron that we are all tending, the fire we are all tending, is there for us to pay attention to. So go and have a look if you've not yet done so. Please subscribe, like, share and comment. It'd be great to have you join us on the channel if this is new for you. And of course, if you are an existing subscriber, really great to have you back with me, and really looking forward to our ongoing journey with the I Ching, week by week, month by month. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.